I mean, DeGrom can't stay healthy. He's a great pitcher, but the Rangers are going to regret that.
How old is he? 41? Verlander 41?
He's old, but
well,
he's still filthy.
They lost DeGrom. Chris Bassett's nobody here cares.
So we don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah,
Jason, I do want to hear your locker room.
So,
insight.
Jason, did they feel like in that locker room? Did they feel like a team that thinks they're still in the hunt?
I said last week after they beat Tampa, they absolutely believe that they're not dead, and I think that they do feel that way, but they're also realistic about where they stand. They're 5-7. I think they're 11th in the AFC. They need a lot of help. It's not even just winning out. They need a lot of things to go their way ahead of them.
It's not good when they put it up on the graphics on the sports broadcast. They have division leader, wild card,
right.
In the
hunt.
If you're not in the hunt,
and then everyone else,
it's a bad.
Well, I think they were, but they were the last team in the hunt.
No, yesterday they didn't have listed in the hunt.
They're still looking for their boots and their gun.
No, listen. Reflog changed it for us. Reflog hooked us up. Can a team dream? That's our category.
Oh no! Is that what
so I think that they're very realistic, and that's why I said at the top of the show, I was talking to one player on the offensive side who was like, "Look, even if it's for next year, it's just these last 6 games getting Deshaun up and ready to go."
5 teams to get in the hunt.
Stop
playing with me.
So I think that they're very realistic. I think there was a lot of emotion and excitement coming off the Tampa win because it was such a big win, and it did save any sort of hope. They had to get that game, and they got that game. But I think realistically, they know where it stands. They know the odds that are against them. And so really, sure, you keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But it's all about preparing this offense, getting Deshaun ready, and making sure there are no excuses next year. And from day one, you're ready to go.
Well, it's just not that either. You got to figure out if you don't make the run this year, which you're probably not going to make the run. Now you got to be shrewd here because your picks are gone, right? So how are you going to be shrewd? Who's doing the prep work that's necessary here?
Well, not all. I mean, this year only their first round pick.
They just lost their first round. They got second.
It's a
round
big
to third
deal.
round.
Obviously, you'd like to have a first round pick,
right?
But I'd rather have Deshaun Watson than have that.
Yeah, there's no question,
right? So they got it. The Browns are now to the point, for the first time in first time certainly since they've been back in '99, where they can't afford to screw up their draft picks because they're not going to be in the past they've always been able to spend if they wanted to because they were cap was never an issue. This is the first time the cap's ever been an issue, and so the Browns their second, third, fourth round picks are huge. They can't blow those picks.
And they've got a lot of misses in the last couple of years in those rounds, and that's where, as we talk about the defensive tackles, that's what's killing them. Missing on Jordan Elliott, missing on Togi. I believe Togi, if memory serves, I think he was inactive again yesterday. He's been inactive the last couple of weeks.
They have been awful at drafting players in the front 7.
So
or free agency. They've been terrible.
So where do you go now? We just talked about, okay, well, if they're going to get another receiver, okay, well, you want some defensive tackles, okay, we need a linebacker. Because you've missed on some of those mid-round picks in the past,
right?
You've really put yourself up against it now in terms of the cap and the flexibility that you have to get better. But they also have some hits. Martin Emerson's terrific. That was a home run pick. Just a home run
And
pick.
I still think Greg Newsome, even though he's not had a good year, I still think he's a good player.
He's fine.
Right? But Emerson's a big hit. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a big hit.
I still think David Bell's going to be okay.
I
still like him.
He's an incomplete at this point. Schwartz is a miss.
This is the reason why you almost are forced to get rid of Joe Woods, because you need somebody that can do some smoke and mirrors with the pieces you got. You said you wanted Joe Woods, and he got to handpick all these people, right? It ain't working. You're not being able to get the pressure that you want. So you need to bring in another guy that's going to be able to get the maximum amount out of some of these positions that have not been playing up to snuff. You need, if you're going to be great, there's Denzel Ward. You need somebody to get in his mind, in his body, and tell him, look, we paying you $100 million.
Let's go. Pick it up.
Y'all gotta be locked down.
By the way, guys,
secondary has to be locked down.
By the way, sorry to cut you off. We have breaking news from the Browns. Kevin Stefanski just said Sione Takitaki torn ACL.
Yeah, I saw when they took him off.
It's a big loss.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's played well.
Look good.
Takitaki's been playing well the last few weeks.
Hey, man, that Kool-Aid is getting.
When they took him off, I knew that was bad.
That Kool-Aid is real lukewarm right now. Oh my gosh. Taki, listen, you got to think about it. Taki moved to the middle linebacker. He was one of their better tacklers. He's sound. I thought he was having a great year. He's one of your better special teams guys.
He's a solid player. He's not a special player, but he's a solid NFL player.
But you went from solid. Now I got to play Deion Jones. Mr. Ole himself.
What's his name?
Ole, 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 ole.
I mean, your linebackers at this point are Tony Fields and Deion Jones.
Oh, there's
Okay.
no way. Listen,
Tony Fields isn't even a linebacker, is he? I mean, he's got to play, but he's like a hybrid
I'd
safety.
call him a linebacker.
and JOK, I like your athleticism, dog. I really do, Randy Jackson voice. But you ain't got enough of your britches to bring these dudes down. You light in the trunks.
He got to pick his weight up.
You get your weight up. I'm tired of seeing you one-on-one and the running back, you every time you turn around, he running some more and you getting up talking about almost
That's
hit
why.
him.
That's why I said there's a sequence to this, right? Because you always talk about the coaching with Joe Woods, right? But that's not the coaching,
Right.
It's the person shopping for the groceries too. The person who finds and minds the talent bull has to mirror with the person behind him that I brought you this work. Now you got to make this work.
Right.
Yeah, no
And
doubt.
there
Yes.
seems to be some misconnection.
Absolutely. I mean, Andrew Berry has been a mixed bag with his picks, and sometimes is it the development by the coaching staff, or did you just make the pick wrong? I think they have to reevaluate how they're evaluating guys in the front seven, because in that area they've gotten it wrong every time, free agency and draft. In other areas they've had a lot of success or a mixed bag. But in the front seven, they've gotten it wrong every time, this group. By the way, a couple other injury updates for the Browns. David Bell day-to-day with a thumb injury. Anthony Schwartz is in the concussion protocol. And Ronnie Harrison has cleared the concussion protocol. So there you go.
So I asked you a long time ago, Jason. So who's making the selections over there, right? Because that's key. That's key in any good organization. Somebody's got to be nuts and bolts about knowing what you're buying here, and have a good feel for it. Who is that over there?
It's Andrew Berry in terms of who's making the picks in the draft.
But take me through his football prowess. I mean, is he a down and dirty guy that knows talent?
Well, I think that was John Dorsey. You know, he had the scouting background, and he was that guy who would roll up his sleeves and really kind of learn these guys. Barry is more of the, I mean, you're going to cringe, but he's the Ivy League guy, and he's the guy who was highly thought of around the league. He's the youngest GM, and the Browns hired him, and deeply respected wherever he's been, Philly, Baltimore. And they always kind of had their eye on him as they wanted him for this job.
I don't know how many thing against the Ivy League guys, right? Because your business acumen is not, you're not a down in the weeds dude, right? You're not a person that knows, right? Because it's not how much information you got out the book. I tell you, when nuts and bolts of any sports is this, you have to know the eye test. And the eye test, when I walk into any venue, you can pretty much tell the nuance of who can play and who can't, right? And then you walk into an environment where you see people who get all this accolades, right? And then you look at them and you're like, they couldn't play dead at a funeral, right? And it seems to me that we always get caught up in that. The people we always pull out are these people, these big name people that are supposed to have all this talent, but then when they hit the field, you're left wondering and scratching your head. And then I'm looking at people that got drafted under these people that we had a chance to grab, and they seem to blow up everywhere they go. Like, it's unbelievable.
I don't believe. My problem with them is when you start saying you don't value certain positions, right?
Well, I don't know that they've said that.
I mean, but it's in the pudding.
I just think I don't know that I agree with that. I just think they've gotten it wrong. I mean, they've added a lot of guys in the front seven. They just keep getting the wrong guys.
Alex Wright might be able to play. I'm not ready to cast him off.
He might.
I'm not ready to cast him off as a bust.
You got the best linebackers that they've had are 1 year guys. B.J. Goodson and Anthony Walker.
I think B.J. Goodson was before these guys, wasn't he?
B.J.
Was that Dorsey?
I don't remember.
B.J.
Maybe you're right.
One year guys,
I
right?
remember. Yeah.
You got your defensive tackles, right? Those guys are third round picks.
Yeah.
You haven't brought any big game free agents at any one of those positions, and I just like to say, go back and look at these teams. the Pittsburgh Steelers as well as the Ravens traditionally. You got Ray Lewis, dog. You got Ed Reed. Like, yeah, you don't traditionally say, I'm going to pick a safety that high or a linebacker that high, or I'm not going to invest in Haloti Ngata playing defensive tackle. But when you get transcendent type players, they transcend the whole defense, right? So to me, I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns and I'm saying, I don't see nobody transcendent. I see Myles Garrett, but I can't. I need an attack and a scheme to go with that.
Yeah.
I need something more with that. And now you got Taki. He was going to be gone.
Yeah.
JOK, you want to build it around speed. They need 2 big D tackles.
Yeah.
2 big ones.
No doubt. That's you look in this division, and all the other teams are strong at D tackle. They're all good, and the Browns are not. It's a huge problem, and I just don't buy that they don't care about it. I just think they've
missed.
Swung and missed.
And I've said this before. It's the one position, D tackle is the one position that they've addressed every year in the draft under this regime in the 4th round or higher. It's not that they're ignoring it. They just keep whiffing. Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai, and there's another one. Who am I missing? There's another one in there. And they seem to fill it last year a little bit, a stopgap in free agency with Malik Jackson, Malik McDowell, and then McDowell had his issues, which we know about, and Jackson wasn't picked up, I don't believe, by anybody. I think he's out of the league and he's done. But so they've tried to address this.
Now I think the one thing to G's argument is they haven't put significant capital into that position.
But you only get 1 first-round pick.
No.
know
But
what
I mean like financial capital, like a big free agent.
They tried signing Taven Bryan, and he hasn't worked out this year.
Yeah, but
he was one of their first free agent signings.
He was, but he was not a big, like, nobody expected him to be that good.
But he may have been their first free agent signing, which tells
was.
you where they put the priority. If that's where'd they lead off with before? Jack Conklin, right? Wasn't he their first?
Sure.
And so for Taven Bryan to be the first guy that you sign tells you what they thought about.
So the Browns have 2 tiers of scouting. I'm looking it up now, right? They've got a pro scouting group that scout the people in the league. Mm-hmm. Then they've got a college scouting group.
That's common.
And so I've never heard. So did you know Adam Kayel is the director of pro scouting? Sam DeLuca is the assistant director of pro scouting.
Yeah, but Brad, you go through any team, you're not going to know those guys.
No, but here. No, some of the people you will know.
Really?
Because they've been around the business.
I knew Alonzo Highsmith.
Yeah. They've been around the business, right? So you can walk in, and Ozzie Newsome, you couldn't fool him. He knew what he was doing, right? And
right, but there's not a lot of Ozzie Newsome.
No, but I'm saying here, Bull. Yeah. Somebody here I should recognize, at least one person.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you recognize any? Can you name anybody in the Steelers front office?
Let me pull up the list.
I mean, can you name anybody in the Bengals front office?
Or hold on, I will give you this. And I've always thought about this in a different perspective.
Yeah.
What allows the Steelers to play the same style of defense no matter
continuity?
No matter who they bring
continuity.
in.
Stability.
They just play that way. If you go to even guys that you didn't think were necessarily that type of player.
They don't fire people every 8 seconds.
When their GM is there for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They get a guy. Well,
most people can't name him.
Watch this though. Since I've been born, Steelers play the same way.
Well, because they don't change coaches.
80s, 90s, 2000s, they coming to get you. It don't matter.
I'm 51 years old. They've had 3 coaches my entire life. 3.
Well, there are 14 people in the Browns pro and college scouting.
Yeah.
I don't recognize not one.
Yeah, but I bet you if you look through most teams, you'll not going to recognize most guys.
I didn't say you had to have 10 people, but somebody here. What I see here, Bull, is this.
Yeah.
I see a number of misses, right? So my first question as a person in the business is, who is picking the groceries? And what level of impact do you have on that? Who are you? Because that person, as he don't make the selection, he goes to Barry to say, these are my people.
All right. Well, this won't be the last time we have this conversation. Mikey, what do you